Well, welcome back to another episode of Big Time Success Stories with Small Town People. This show is dedicated to hearing from successful people all over the Illinois-Missouri region about really how they got to where they are. My name is Jeff Seeberger. I'm with Kelsey Brenneisen, and we are the hosts for the show. Today we're fortunate enough to meet with the president of St. Mary's Hospital in Centralia, Illinois, Damon Harbison.
Hello, everyone.
So Damon, thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you.
So Damon, tell the audience how you got to where you are, how you grew up, where you grew up. Give us a little bit of the history of Damon.
Sure, I'd love to. Talking about myself is my favorite hobby. Actually, I can't stand it. I'm more about making others feel good about themselves and how I can make them feel than, talking about myself. But I appreciate what you're doing here. So hopefully someone can take a nugget of my happiness and what I think is success and turn it into theirs. So I appreciate it.
Sure.
Background and how I grew up, I think, is one of the biggest foundations for me on how I got to where I am and why I think that's successful. And I think growing up in a small town and not having everything, a silver spoon or anything like that. And I think my parents are successful. My dad started out in a factory after trade school and worked his way all the way up to a plant operation director. And my mom has just got a heart of gold. She would give anything to anyone that needed it. And one thing that I've always carried throughout is that feeling that she made others feel. And so you see that in me, right? I mean, they worked hard to provide what we had. And so it always gave me a good foundation of what to teach my future family. Everyone's heard the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you make people feel.
Mm-hmm.
And when you walk away or when, it's 5 years down the road and someone says, well, I miss Damon or whatever, right? And it's because he made me feel that way that time. Made me smile during a very tough day.
Yeah. Well, I know for sure, even as recent as walking up here today, that the way you make people feel is pretty special. Rhonda was just sharing with me that people from Cardinal Glennon in your old days still call and wonder if they can have you back. So, you've touched people in ways across, your career that probably you don't hear enough about, but other people talk about it, and that's pretty cool.
Well,
But you worked over in Cardinal Glennon, which, for those of you that don't know, that's St. Louis. So what made you decide to move back to good old small town Centralia?
Sure. I tell you, it's right here, my heart. So we were in, so of course I went through high school here. I did Kaskaskia Associates in Applied Science for the radiologic program. Then I moved over to St. Louis and went to Washington University School of Medicine's Allied Health program from radiation therapy. And then during that I was getting my master's degree. And I connected with St. Louis University Hospital and really put my roots there and was growing up through there, and then came over to SSM. And I did numerous positions and really quick. It was almost like a promotion, or I'll call an opportunity, every year.
Mm-hmm.
So exciting, like just jump out of bed. What are we doing today? What's those challenges? And that's the kind of energy I like to bring to the day. Like my coffee mug says, best day ever. And that's the only kind of days that I have. Because each day is an interview, each day is a challenge, each day is something that you can gain from it. So working at SLU Hospital, and then I went over to SSM to do St. Clair, St. Mary's, and Clayton, and Cardinal Glennon, and stayed with Cardinal Glennon for like 7 years after that. So, so the question really is, but you just needed that background, is how do you get back here? So it's all in the same system, SSM Health, and I've been just so fortunate to have been with them 11 years. Their mission is my mission. It's not something that's just written on a wall or back of a business card. We live it every day in every decision we make. So when the opportunity popped up to come back to the hometown and give back, I was like, yeah, let's do that.
So how does a young man growing up in Irvington walk through life and then figure out what he wants to do, which is be a president of a major hospital system?
I've always wanted to think several steps ahead from where I am currently. And that's good and bad. So the good part about it is you're always like, what's next? Okay, I'm president of a hospital. What am I going to do next? Help the community. What's those 6 steps ahead of me? The problem with it, the con with it, is that you sometimes go into never being satisfied, right? Okay, I got the associate's degree, then I got the bachelor's degree, then I got the master's degree. my goodness, I'm kind of like, oh gosh, should I put the brakes on or go to a doctorate degree? Same thing with the career. I got this promotion, got that promotion, we got that opportunity, we did that project. But you never, it's hard to get off that train. And the older you're getting, the more I can appreciate smelling the roses. Mm-hmm. So like right there, that family right there, I want to spend time with them, right? And I want to spend good time with them. So it's hard to shift your mind a different way to say, breathe. Or you can still work 110%, but on the weekends you're going to do this. Or you're going to make a date night for you and your wife on Thursday. Or you're going to play with your kids. Or you're going to surprise them at a baseball practice. Yeah. So I think that kind of helps level set me, but that can definitely be a con of kind of what my mindset was. And I think I've had that mindset, number one, being a goofball, but number two, that type A since grade school. Room was always clean, always making lists, I'm sure there's a diagnosis out there somewhere for me.
Probably someone in this building could help you.
Yeah, probably so.
So Damon, what is something that drives you every day?
The people, hands down the people. The people that we work for, which is the patients, the people on the front line that actually deliver the care and the experience, the people in the buildings that have nothing to do with healthcare, because we're all part of that team. And making sure that everyone knows how important they are, and we couldn't do any of it without their missing puzzle piece.
So what would you say is a habit that every successful person has?
I think the first one being that looking 6 steps ahead, no matter what you're doing. Mm-hmm. We also talked about it kind of driving you crazy as well, and never smelling the roses. But I think if you can be mindful of where you're at in that process, that you can do both. Also, another thing is keeping your opportunities open, right? I'm not talking about career changes or changing your spouse out or churches or whatever. I'm talking about just keeping your opportunities open, which I did throughout my career. And there's a new physician, there's a new project. Be the first to raise that hand. I'm interested in that. I'd love to help. Whatever. I know someone from that office. Let me be a liaison between the two. So that's what I mean by keeping your opportunities open. And then another one for me is that how I make people feel. Remember, I learned that very early on from my mom, and I will carry that on for the rest of my life. And the final attribute, if you will, is the attribute of being able to meet people and to public speak. What is 98% of the people are scared to death to do a public speech and go on camera or meet someone new. Get that out of your brain. Mm-hmm. Get it out of your brain. If you can go walk into a room, smile, go up to someone you don't know, shake their hand, and tell them your story, and they do the same, you just met a new friend. Mm-hmm. But so many people are so scared. You get that heart racing, and you start sweating, but really it's a new opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we've talked about a lot of different things, okay? So I'm going to hit you with a little bit of a harder question maybe today. If you look back on all the things that you've experienced, and you're 40-something-year-old today, right? What would you at 40 tell yourself at 20 or 25 about what to expect the next 15, 20 years?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think first that pops into my mind is 4 kids really the right number? No, I'm joking. That they're all so unique, and I love them so much, and life wouldn't be as exciting. And I have a saint for a wife that makes that all happen. So no, I love them. But seriously, just not taking yourself so darn serious. And you've heard the phrase, don't sweat the small stuff. Well, don't. Yeah. The more you worry, it's really bad for your health, first of all, and also is noise in your brain. So you're not able to concentrate on something else like professional development or opening your own business or going back to school, because you're so worried about 90% of the stuff that doesn't even happen, not even close to happening. And a lot of people just dwell on those things. We're human. That's what happens. But I think this kind of shake myself at 20 from 40 and say, seriously, don't worry about it. Yeah. It was many years after my 20s that I figured that out.
Yeah. Well, Damon, I appreciate it. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the nuggets. I guess one final thing before we leave would be, if somebody is watching this video 3 years from now, and it's out there, it's on YouTube, what do you want them to be able to take from it and apply to their life or their business that you think would put them on the track for success? What's that one thing maybe that you could give if they take nothing out of I don't know the video, but this, what would this be?
Gosh, so you're summing the video up in like 5 seconds.
That's why we wait until the end.
Yeah.
So they have to watch
plan.
all the way.
Good MO. So what I think the takeaway would be, that is a tough one. We talked a lot about new opportunities and keeping your eyes open, and that's probably the biggest one, because if you think about it, everything else feeds into it. So if you're not open for an opportunity, it doesn't matter if you spoke or you shook that hand. It didn't matter that you were thinking 6 steps ahead, because you're not even looking. You're blinded by being closed off of not having a new opportunity.
Well, man, thank you for your time. It's really always a pleasure to visit with you, especially to promote you and what you guys are doing here. So, thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're here for you. So
Thank you both.
right.
Anything else I can do, let me know.
all right.
We will.
So that's it for today's episode on big time success stories with small town people. Damon Harbison was our guest today. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks.